Okay, I've got this set up. So we started off by getting the runner, and I'm now generating some HTML. I use the runner's name. I query the activities as before for this particular runner, and then I just generate a little bit of HTML where for each activity I add on a list version of the activity. Now just for debugging, I'm writing this out in HTML so that we can make sure that we've got this working right. I go over here, I've already tested this. I load this mail summary page for a particular runner ID, and it gives me that particular runner's activities. Alright, so now let's stop the debugging and get to the interesting part and send a message. So we're going to set up a message by using the mail email message class, make an instance of that, and now we have to set up a bunch of properties on this. So we have to say who is sending it, and we're going to put an email address here, and the sender is, we actually have it from the runner object, right? It's email. Remember, this comes from our model where our runner has a name and an email address, and we've put that in already so we can get this out of here. Now when you send an email message, it's nice to have the person it's being sent from have the real name, so we can use this format. We can say the runner name and then angle brackets followed by the email address. You may have seen this. And this way it will just look prettier to the recipient. I will say there's an important security issue here, which is that Google App Engine will not let you send a message from anybody. You can only send a message from someone that is registered as being an administrator of this Google App Engine app. So I actually specifically I'm going to send this from me, and so now that I'm saying this, I realize this is not quite right. What I really want to do is send it from me, who's the admin on this Google App Engine account, and when we send it to the person, we'll send it to the actual runners, the actual runner that requested it, which makes much more sense. Okay, so now we're going to set the subject, your running activity. Let's say who we're sending this to, and now the person we're sending it to is what I had meant to say, which is runner.name and so on. We can go back and fix this, because this is always coming from me. If you are writing this code, you should have to change this to have it run from your account that's configured with Google App Engine. So we've got the sender, the subject, to, and let's not forget what it is that we want to send. The body of the message is going to be an HTML string. HTML equals this variable HTML that we've set up over here. If you only wanted to send plain text instead of rich text, you can send .body and then it'll play plain old text. But HTML lets us send all that. And that's it. We can go ahead and send it. Message.send. And this will go ahead and send this. Let's let the user know that we actually successfully sent it if we got this far. So we'll write out to an HTML message successfully sent to runner.email. Okay, now we can run this in Google App Engine with our, the same URL, mail summary, and it's going to give us an error because I had a typo here. Fix that up the way I had meant it to be. All right, we got a message saying message successfully sent. The reality is I happen to know it's not going to really send because the SDK, the Google App Engine launcher, doesn't actually send messages. In fact, let's look at this log here. When we executed this mail summary, it's going to say, here's the message we sent. That's very nice. That looks like a nice looking email message, but it says you are not currently sending out real email. We can actually configure it to make it work, but instead what we'll do is we'll go and upload this to Google App Engine's real server and make this work. But before I do that, let me make sure that I've got the ID set, the application ID, set to the application ID that I have configured on the server with my account, which is Betterson-test. That's really what I need here. Now we can go ahead and deploy this. It will, with any luck, upload this to Google App Engine host. Okay, it's finished uploading. So now we can go through and look at what this looks like on the live public server. So right now my database is empty, so we need to put some stuff in the database. So let me go ahead and start by doing that. Okay, I've gone ahead and added some runners and activities, so now we can go and try seeing if we can actually email something. So I'm going to copy this ID from my Gmail account, and we will go to add summary, whose runner ID equals that. Cross your fingers, press enter, and we have an error. Don't know why. So now we get to go back to our debugging. So we're going to start by going to App Engine, and this is actually important for you to get to be familiar with this. This is the console that you're familiar with. I'm going to open up this application, and there's actually a lot of very, very useful things in here. The first is the logs. The logs is basically the result of all of our URL requests, and the most recent ones are on top, right? We just made a request to add summary, and there it is. There's no error, so whatever the problem is, that's not it. So we're going to keep on looking. Well, some bugs you can't figure out by debugging. You just have to think a little bit. Maybe you've noticed this, but add summary is not, in fact, the name of the URL that we registered with our program. It's mail summary, right? You just have to look around until you realize what kind of silly mistake you made. So we're going to change this to mail summary and try again. And sure enough, it says message successfully sent to betterson@gmail.com. Look at this, my little Gmail indicator just went to 1. Here it is, your running activity. Open this up, and there it is, beautiful HTML format message that we just sent. So that is really very nice, and just to be sure this is working properly, I'm going to copy this other ID for my CS account and put this in here instead. It says message successfully sent to Betterson@CS. That takes usually an extra minute for that to get forwarded. Oh, here it is. And this is my CS account. You can see it actually was sent to my CS account properly, and this is my CS data. This one was my Gmail data. So we have now written the first important part of this program, which is we have done some more database work and figured out how to send a message. The next step is to put this on the task queue so that it happens in a deferred manner.